Hi, welcome to Barvotti's 34th live screening of Tools for Creators. I'm Phoebe Bradbury, and today I will be demonstrating some of the tools that I use every day in my art studio. I wouldn't want to be without them, and I find new uses for them all the time. There will be promotional offers during the program, and the promo codes will be active during the demonstration and for about half an hour after the current time. The current time is 12 noon Central, January the 10th, 2022. So the codes will be available about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours after the show starts. Right now, the promotions are only available on Amazon.com. Okay, I'm going to start by showing you some of the work produced during the show. And what you're looking at right now is very fast, very quick abstract painting, and it's done on butcher paper. And I just want to show you that. You can probably see that it's a little slick, and the other side is a white paper. And I use that because it allows me to work very quickly and not waste paper. And so that gives you an idea of this was done with just these types of tools, nothing else. And the same with the other few I've got here, this is one that I like quite a lot. And yeah, I've only got two here today. So what I want to say about this is that if you do decide to do this, what I'm doing here, or abstract work quickly, you will probably find that you want to move to a better quality paper, either a regular paper with a slick surface where you've painted something on it, or I mean painted a medium on it so that it's got a slick surface, or change to a plastic paper like Yupo. The next one I'm going to show you is a piece of work done on Yupo paper. And this little painting, it's about the size of a postcard, and it took less than a minute to do. And I'm going to just go in on it so that you can see. I think, yeah, it is focused. Good. Okay. Getting better at the zoom here. So you can see, even as we bring it in really, really tight, the tools allow for real precision. I'm going to just push this little button here, make sure we got the best light, and very, very high resolution. And for such a quick little painting. Okay, now I'm going to go out again. Okay, so that's that one. And I liked it so much that I did another one the next day. So this is the same, very similar thing, only in blue. Once again, a very high very high resolution. And I'm going to just check that. Okay. Here we go. This is one of the ones we did early days in probably late October. This is when we started our 3 times weekly shows, and this is one of the early ones. I'm going to just take it out a little bit. I think I can. Yeah. And it's called Blue Bridge. And here I'm showing you, or this was also very quick. We've got it the making of it filmed as well. But these lines here are made with something we did. It was our first attempt to use a parallel line maker where I took the, okay, I'm just going to, yeah, it should be in, it is in focus, good. You can just see how I just cut some little holes in the edge of the tool there to give us, if you look at it there, that's what gave us those lines there. Okay. Okay. Did we show the purple one at the beginning? No? Which one did we show?
We showed the red, so we're gonna do the purple video.
Okay, so this is the one we showed? Okay, this is the one we showed at the beginning of the show. And it did take a little longer. It was sped up probably several times, but it's still a very quick painting. And what we're going to show you now is this purple one and how it was made, and with the music. Here we go.
Video back.
So now I do this. Yes. Okay. And here we have the tools that we used to produce those paintings. And I just want to go over a few points about them. First of all, I'm going to just get... And to show you, this is a 3-inch Barvotti mottler. We call them mottlers because they're in the same kind of a handle as a mottler brush. It's got a wide flat handle. It's got a very sharp edge. I'm going to turn it on its side and you can see just how sharp it is. It's very sharp, okay? And it's very straight. Also, it's a high quality, medium firm silicone. And the active edge is this edge here. That's the one that does all the work. And it's got a stainless steel ferrule, a compressed plastic, very compressed plastic. What I mean by that is it's not light. It has the weight of a wooden handle, but it's very compressed. I've had them for years. They've never split. I've never had any problem with them at all. And the thing I really like about them is this little hole here, which allows me to hang them above my bench and out of the way in case I still have paint on them. Rather than lay them down, I'd rather hang them up as I'm working. So that's what I like about them. They're extremely easy to clean. I don't have a dirty one here, but usually I don't use water that much. I have a bucket of wet cloths, and I just, as they get dirty and need to be cleaned, I just wipe them, and then they're perfectly clean. And I'll demonstrate that as we go through. So that's the 3-inch. Let's go back and look at these ones here. So, oh, the other thing you should be aware of is that silicone is really excellent for water-based mediums. It's also very good for oil-based and waxed mediums, but you have to be careful when you are using solvents, because silicone dissolves in solvents over time. So if you are going to use solvents with these, just remember to keep water ready and dip them in the water often, and don't leave them sitting in solvents. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show here was the quality of the two. If we look at this, this is the smallest. That's the one inch, and the largest, the 3-inch. And we look at them sideways, and you really can't tell the difference. And that's because they're using the same high quality silicone, even in the smaller modelers. So, and they're very flexible. You can see here, flexible yet firm. I've never had one stay distorted after using it. So, there we go. What else was I going to say about that? Oh. By watching the video, you'll probably start to understand why I really like them. Okay, now I'd like to introduce Sandy Welsh, an online artist on Instagram, and she will be painting with a 1-inch modeler, and then she will, that's the one, it's going to show you the 1-inch, the 1-inch modeler, and then she will be scratching through with the 3-inch modeler. And thank you, Sandy Welsh.
I'm going to go back to my little rubber spatula here. She had that big ball of dark. And then we'll go over it again with a lighter blue, but this will be underneath. So are we getting to look like this ocean? See? This is really cool. Where do you get them? Oh, I ordered them from Amazon. They look like, where's my big one? I think they're called shapers. I've got 2 of them. I got the bigger one. They're not expensive either. I got this one. I think if you just put in paint shapers, this will come up. They're nice, and you can use the tips if you want to sort of scratch out. Yeah, they had a couple different sizes, but I like them. It's the first time I've started using them.
This is a painting I did at art school while And you can see the scraping through at the bottom in the red area, and the lines, the yellow lines at the top, are made by scraping through a dark upper layer onto the yellow layer. The painting is also covered with a layer of horizontal and vertical fluorescent lines poured across the surface. I won't be talking about those today, but I will be showing you some of how some of these effects are achieved in the next demo. So do I go right over to the demo now? Okay, here we are. And this is my favorite part. So we usually start by, what I do is I put some paint down and start playing with the tools. So this is an Indian yellow, transparent paint, and it's professional quality, which just means that you know exactly what's in the paint and how it will behave. This is not true of a lot of it's usually true of student grade, but it's not usually often true of the less, it's not so much that it's about expense, it's about just a certain way things are made. So I just showed you there how to spread with the modeler, and this is a 3-inch spread. And this is a 3-inch pull through. Now, when you pull through like that, what I'm showing is actually, you can see the difference between the mass tone of the paint and the tone of the paint when it's pulled thinly over something white, which gives you a lot of information about how the color, how the product will behave in certain situations. It's a transparent paint, so it's a modern type of paint. You can mix it with metallic colors, and they won't lose. They'll still look metallic because you can see the metallic bits through the transparency of the paint. So I am just going to demonstrate a little bit here about some of the marks you can make. So you saw some of them in the video. And I really like this part of doing the paintings, or playing with these. I call them paintings, but they're usually just little studies that I use to inform my work when I'm doing much larger pieces. So that's the 3-inch. Notice how the very sharp straight line allows me to go in and just drop it on the damp surface and just pull. And the edges are firm too. Of course, it depends on the fluidity of your paint. For these demos, I like to use a fairly fluid acrylic paint. So not really wet, but it's fluid in the sense that it flows nicely across this. That was 3 ums in a row. Nicely across the waxed or plastic surface of the butcher paper. And I'm just playing here, making some little marks. So one of the things I talk about is how we, using these kinds of products, you do learn a lot about what kind of marks you like to make. And I'm going to clean it off. And this is a cleaning demo, so very mucky. No big deal. Just clean it off. A damp rag, a damp cloth. These are not rags. This is a very high staining color. That's why it's leaving that little bit of yellow on here, but it will come right off with a clean cloth. There we go. Put it down over here. I'm going to get fresh cloth just to show you that they don't really absorb any colors or anything like that. It's probably, that airlight yellow is probably one of the few that seems to stain things, but as you can see, perfectly clean. And this is a 2.5 inch. Now in the last section, I didn't actually go through the sizes. So this is a 2.5 inch, a 2 inch, a 1.5 inch, and a 1 inch. And those are the ones we have on Amazon right now. We will also, at the next show, we will be showing a couple of other products that are finally in stock. So what'll we do with the 2 inch? I'm just gonna, am I right in the middle? I hope I am. And I am in focus, great. The other thing I can do here is just to give you an idea how the lines, it's just to go in and show you what it looks like close up. And I'll just leave it about here, okay? Might make it a little bigger later. So once again, I can use this to draw across the surface. So spread the paint. And this, you might think it takes a bit of practice. And it probably does take a little bit. Often if I've got quite a lot of paint, I'll just lay it on the surface. And once again, scraping. I'll scrape a little corner here. So I'm scraping right down to the surface now. And this is a 2.5 inch scrape. And the fun, of course, is when you scrape one thing on top of another, you start to develop patterns. So lots of interesting marks you can make with these. So that's the 2.5 inch. I'm trying to think what the other, well, I'll be mixing a few paints, colors maybe next. So it's a little, it's not, with this, this yellow is quite dark. So it does show up on the white paper really well. Now I'm going to add a little bit of, this is Naphtha Crimson. It's also a professional grade paint, and that I know what's in it. I know that it's transparent. And what else do I know? I know how it'll mix with other colors, but that's just from experience and knowing what color Naphtha Red is. It's just experience, really. So that's the 2 inch? Yeah. I'm just laying it across, seeing what's happening. I can probably get a very nice, ooh, look at that stuff under there. Orange, by just taking a bit of this and mixing it here. Nice. That yellow is almost an orange anyway. It's got quite a lot of red in it. So we're just spreading and playing around. Don't always have to do straight lines. So I have attempted several times here to take a monoprint off. That's where I just, because if you can see it, it's quite liquidy. The paint's quite liquidy. And what happens, I think there's just a bit too much paint on there to do a good job of it. So I'm going to take some and set it aside. Let's see if I can do this with a little less paint on. Let's take a little off here too. So, what I'm going to try and do is lay down a piece of absorbent non-UPO paper. But just sort of, well, actually I have, no, I don't have that right now. I was thinking I have some watercolor paper, but I don't know exactly where it is. So. Well, that's just big ribbony marks. Okay, so we're going to try, I'm going to take this off of here, get it ready for the next thing I do. See? Clean, ready to go. Unlike a brush, if you're doing this with, let's see what, if you were doing it with a brush and you were working on using acrylics, you would probably have to stop and rinse your brushes, wash them, maybe even certainly at least lay them in water. So, well, that time we got a rather interesting one. Got a lot of paint off there. So you'll have to forgive me because I'm going to take another, I'm going to do it again because I think it might work a bit better when it's a bit drier. Oops, maybe not. What was the one we were using? I'm going to put this over top of this blue one we did earlier. Probably see if we're actually going to get a bit of print. Pretty hard to tell when it's one on top of the other. It's almost starting to look patriotic, red and blue. Okay, so that gives you an idea of, you know, just one of the things we do with these. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. This time I'm adding an aerolite yellow. And it's not quite as it's not quite, it's now becoming just as orange as the other yellow. So I was going to say it's not quite as orange as that other yellow, but mixed in with the red it is getting quite yellow. So what can we do to make this a little more exciting? So this is the 1.5 inch, wiped clean. That's sitting on the 2 inch there. Oops, I didn't, I'm a little bit too drawn in here. Let's go like that. Okay. What's she going to do here? I don't know. That's one thing about my program. Is I kind of know what I'm going to do, but I don't always know everything, because if I try to prepare everything, then it usually, for some reason, it might turn out, but it won't. I probably won't find it very interesting. So I'm always trying to work on the edge of what I know and what I can learn. And so this is the 1.5 inch. That's the 1 inch. And I'm going to try and do a little inscribing here through a dark sort of greeny blue. The green comes from the fact that there's yellow in there and I put blue on it. And we'll just see what we've got underneath. And oh, we might do a bit of a basket. No. So what I did there is, if you look here, I'm going to take it in, and zoom in. Let's see how all of these marks underneath have come through. So as an abstract painter, I love those marks. I'm always trying to figure out what to do with them. That might not be something you're interested in, but I just thought I would show you that. So I'm going to do a couple of parallel lines with this. And I'm finding that it's going all the way through. And it's quite nice. I'm going to make this one a little narrower because I haven't really talked a lot about how even though it might be a 1.5 inch, you can make much smaller marks going up and down. So we're going to pretend this is a basket and these are the cross, or let's see which ones. I always get this a little confused. So I'm going to go over this orange thing. Oops, and under. And over and under. Yeah. And then I'm going to go under. And over and under. And over. And now I'm going to go over and under. And over. So you're starting to get how if you use different colors and things like that, and you have repeating patterns, you can do some very interesting things with this. I find I have to concentrate because usually I get down here and then I make a mistake. So over and under. There. And there's like hundreds of ways you can do this. You could be scraping through to darker colors, like put darker colors underneath and have lighter colors on top. You could use different colors going in different directions and things like that. So this is just a basic introduction to what these tools can do. Now the next thing I want to show you is what happens when you want to clean your palette. So depending on the size of your palette or the part of your painting that you want to get rid of, I'm assuming you might not want to keep this, or you might want to start again with a fresher look at it. So I'm going to just make sure that my brush is nice and clean. And if I wanted to remove more, I could just spray it with water and more would come off. It's acrylic and it'll do that. Yeah. But what I'm doing is I'm wiping the blade each time and I'm overlapping each time, so that will get everything off. Helps if you've got a bigger cloth, I guess. There we go. Yeah. So it's practically completely removed. Personally, I like that stuff under there, and I would probably leave that on for painting, but just to prove my point about how much you've gotten off of there, you do take a damp cloth and you can actually get rid of almost everything. And I purposely put in all those marks underneath because I wanted them to show through. So today we are left with this rather interesting bunch of marks. So, yeah. There we go. All right. That's the 5 mottlers. And Previn's going to show you a short video on how other people use these, where they're used, and then Julie Pritchard, another Instagram artist, is going to tell you what her favorite tools are today. Well, not today, but when that was recorded. So there you go, Previn.
are paid for by me. I am not receiving any paid sponsorship for any of these mentions. Next up, from Barvotti.com are these rubber scraping brushes. I really like these to add texture and to smooth paint on my surface. They come in a variety of sizes. These two are my most favorite tools right now.
Is that me again? No, I think, is there something still on there? No, it's me. Okay, I'm just getting ready now to do the UPO demonstration, which is the demo of the ones that I like so much, because they were so, this type of one. And I was hoping to find, oops, some of the ones right at the beginning. Oh, here. I wanted to try maybe doing something like this. Just to do it large on a piece of UPO paper. So this is a small piece of UPO paper, and just going to use, that's a phthalo blue. I'm going to mix it with a little, I'm not going to put too much on. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of ultramarine blue. So you can see the difference in the two colors. Oh, well, maybe you can't. I don't know whether you can see them or not. Is the whole thing in there? Not quite. I'll try and get the whole thing in. Maybe we'll even try a little bit of cerulean blue. And this one is not opaque, or not transparent. I hope I haven't talked too much. Oh, we might use some of these things. Ooh. So, I guess I've sort of decided. It's quite interesting for me, the process of doing this work is that it seems to work best if I just put the brush in my hand and start doing things, rather than if I stand there and go think, think, think. I wonder what the, yeah, okay, here. So this, I really like those swirls in the backgrounds of some of the ones. Where is it? Leave it down there? Oh, here. But this has little tiny swirls. This one is big swirls. I could make them smaller. Well, I could make them very small by going like this. So this is one of my tools that I turned into a parallel line maker. Then I can play with something like this and go, okay, I'm just going to cover that up. Cover that up. So I'm spreading here. Cover that up. Cover that up. And I'm just using the same colors that were spread out, and it looks like I fooled around with them enough that they got all mixed up. And it's not particularly exciting, especially with this sitting over the corner of one edge. But this is where you can start to play with different movements, go in different directions, think about different things. So all of a sudden now, all of those swirly marks are behind. They're no longer part of the front page. And you can if you think it's going over the paper, it's not, because I like them to go over the edge of the paper, but I'm just saying that the actual picture looks better. I'm going to try and lift it up now so you can see it. I'm going to try and put another fresh piece underneath it. So it looks quite different, removed from the background. And I did not cut myself a bunch of these papers before, but I'm going to put, this is a dry one, so we can just put it in the background there. So do I want to do more to it? Well, I think it probably could be played with a bit more. We might even want to put a few colors in here. Oh, I know. Let's put some gold in. So here's a bit of gold. I'm just gonna, I don't want it to smooch all over everything, so I'm just gonna put little bits of it. And adding something like a gold color like this, the gold like this is a little bit different than it's like adding a yellow, but you're also adding something that's reflective. So I don't know. Let's see what we can do with that. Where's here's another one of my little tools with things, teeth sticking out of it. So I could do like this. Or like this. I kind of like the gold. I think I'm actually gonna take this one and go like that. And this one and go like that. So with the gold, because it is got shimmer in it, it's in a clear, not a clear medium, it's a medium that will dry absolutely crystal clear, but right now it's milky. So the golds don't look as bright as they will look when they are dry. And I know you're wondering, why is she doing it that way? Okay, I'll show you in a minute. Oops, oh, look at that one. So it's a little bit like improv in that whatever it gives you, you say, yes, oh, that's great. Even though part of you is saying, now what do I do? So let's look at this piece here. I actually like it better when there was just blue on it. She says. Let's just see what happens if we just do a few of these through here. More Oh, she's rubbed it out. I've rubbed it out. Oh. Now, the interesting thing about this is that there is one blue in here that's opaque. And it will definitely, get rid of the shimmer. But there's two other blues that are not opaque. Push it up. Okay, thank you. I could also make it bigger. Okay, let's do a smaller one here. That's This is where I wish I had a little bit of a spray bottle of water. So that would give me a little bit of freedom here. And see how that little bit of water has allowed me to pull through what is under there. Now, it's quite a different thing. I think that part's got to go too. This is, that definitely has to go now. I know I'm out of frame, but I have to move to get this tablecloth clean. So forgive me for being out of frame. See, there it is. But it needs to be adjusted. Let's put it that way. There we go. So is that a beautiful painting? I'm just going to take you right in and show you that it's certainly complex. It's not got a lot of complex colors. But I wouldn't call it my best effort, but I'm going to see if I can do something else with it right now. So these blobby things are, they're actually the same as that gold stuff, only maybe a little grayer. And they will dry just as crystal clear. Maybe. Will they be any more interesting? I think they might be more interesting on Wednesday. But what I like about this right now is that I'm able to pull it right through. Everything's very moist. And the gold was quite moist, so I'm able to pull it right through. So I kind of like that. Oops, I'm pulling all the paint off here. Go through here. Zoom out a little bit. Okay. So I'm just pulling the paint over different areas, and then I'm scraping through different areas. Very much something that I've done all along, but I usually haven't had such interesting blue things to scrape through to. So just bear with me. Oops, those are too close together. You can't put two things in a row at the same time. So the goal is to be somewhat, what is it when, random, that's the word I'm looking for. Random when you do this, so it doesn't look like you planned it all at the beginning. Yeah. I guess this could be called a form of all-over painting, where there is no particular center of interest. I don't like that a whole bunch of these are slanting up over there, and so, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, if I'm going to be perpendicular, I should be perpendicular to the sides of the paper. But, so here we are, playing around, and we'll do a little more. Whereas I don't want to use that one. I don't mind using this one. Okay, this is a little even, but we'll just play with it a little bit. Some of these are quite thick. So right now, I've done something to this. You can see it from the side, it's got a glint. I'm not sure what it's going to look like when it dries. I think it'll look a lot more like there's a gold sort of gauge or something over the surface of it. But I don't want to ruin it, because I want to have a check and see what it looks like when it dries. So that's my Yupo painting for the day. I'm going to put it down here where it will dry undisturbed. I'm going to wipe this off so I can use it again. And how are we doing? Oh, we're just about had finished our time here. So what I'm going to do is just, I don't think I'll go over that other painting, but I will just go briefly over. Oh, here's the one that we did yesterday. Very similar. So, I guess I should start my story. This is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I found this, oops, it's going way too close. I found this painting in one of those places where you, what was it? In Camtasia, it was just a picture of a painting, and it's gold, and I figured out how to make it. And I went through a variety. I did some practices and things like that on little pieces like this, and then I practiced on this one, getting a little closer. Actually, this is my first attempt. And you'll notice that there's quite a lot of difference between the two. Like, this one has a lot more gold and a lot smaller little black lines. So that meant I had to make a different kind of a mottler. And that's why I then went from, I originally used these two and just sort of held them together. So they're rather rough, and most of the gold was scraped away. And then I made this mottler, and if you look at it, oops, my terrible hands, you can see there that there's a lot more holes, and there's a lot of room for black space, because the black space will scrape right down to the surface, and a lot of room for gold. So that's that's the wrong one, and I'll show you the next one, which is this one. Much better, but this one still has nice smoother curves. So I thought I really have to work on how smooth and pretty my curves are. So this is my next one, smooth and pretty curves. And that's kind of where I would probably leave it, except I thought I had to prove that you could put red in there and have a sort of a coppery color one. So smooth and curvy curves. And then I was, where was I? I had found one that I said was today's one. Oh, then I got bored with smooth curves and I made one like this. And I put the curves in underneath and I put the gold on top. So this is a lot like the one we did today. So except we've got blue in the background instead of black. This is the one we did today. And this is how bright and clear that gold will be when it's done. So it'll be very interesting to me to see what will happen next. And one of the things that might happen is that I might want to try this with a darker blue background, say like almost a midnight or a dark navy or something, to see what would happen. And with that, I think do we have some videos? Or which ones? Pardon me? Oh, so Previn's going to show you how our products are used by our customers and the kinds of video mediums you can use with them too. And so do you want to show those? And thank you for joining us today. You can find us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Central to do a demonstration and answer your questions. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
I'm going to go back to my little rubber spatula here. She had that big ball of dark. And then we'll go over it again with a lighter blue, but this will be underneath. So Are we getting to look like this ocean? See? This is really cool. Where do you get them? Oh, I ordered them from Amazon. They look like, where's my big one? I think they're called shapers. I got two of them. I got the bigger one. They're not expensive either. I got this one. I think if you just put in paint shapers, this will come up. They're nice, and you can use the tips if you want to sort of scratch out. Yeah, they had a couple different sizes, but I like them. It's the first time I've started using them.
All of these products are paid for by me. I am not receiving any paid sponsorship for any of these mentions. Next up, from Barvotti.com are these rubber scraping brushes. I really like these to add texture and to smooth paint on my surface. They come in a variety of sizes. These two are my most favorite tools right now.